Welcome back to area, what was this, area 2? Area 2. Or this is, yeah, area 2. Matt is now the one who's taking a little bit of a breather, and so Hype has returned.
Come to think of it, actually, yeah, that's right. Technically, last part, Matt was still with us, but Hype had to go BRB. Now, Hype's back with us. Now, Matt has to go BRB. So, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah, watch as in the next part, Matt comes
casually.
back, but watch in the next part where Matt's back, but James has to go BRB.
Well, regardless, like,
I mean,
Lord knows we have plenty of Metroid ahead of us, so...
That, to be fair, Hype, I usually never go BRB unless I'm, like, super fucking sick.
That's
right.
fair.
Or my lungs are filled with all that salt from the DMC2 commentary.
I was about to say that, and I can only think of a couple times where James just outright was like, I'm okay, I'm done. One was DMC2 because Lord knows he was missing nothing.
Well, to be fair, I think that was also the point where I really was, like, dog sick.
No, absolutely, yeah, I remember that.
Oh, why can't we just say both?
I mean, yeah. To be fair, both suck roughly equally.
So, there were two ways to get this item. One was to go through that secret path, or those blue crystals. We're not going to be talking about those crystals for a long time, but let's just say that for now, those factor into this game's post-game and one of the more questionable decisions.
Okay.
It's without going into spoiler territory. It's a mechanic I can respect, but I do agree it does break shit on a lot of this game's pace, especially if you're a completionist.
No, I definitely think the pacing is honestly, okay, I'll say again, trying to go into specifics. I genuinely want to say it's one of those things where I know I've played another game like it, but it's the kind of thing where the game has suddenly I was about to say the reverse castle, but I don't know if that's the right thing to say, because the reverse castle had new items and stuff in it.
I guess in a matter of speaking, it's not too dissimilar to the reverse castle bullshit from Symphony of the Night.
But regardless, it's one of those things where if you're a completionist, hooray, you're about to finish the game, you're about to finish the story, but it's just tacked on another 4 hours.
You know what, though? I will say this much, it's not as bad, considering that, well, this is only for the sake of getting everything. If you're doing the reverse castle mode stuff, you have to do a lot of that stuff in order to even get to the final boss.
That is true, which is again why there's part of me that is still... I'm a little nervous to approach that game, just because it's like, it's a big thing.
I mean,
it's like, that is
if
one
we
of
are
the Metroidvanias, but...
honestly, that's kind of why I feel we should at least try doing that live, if only because once we get to the reverse castle stuff, that's pretty much the point for us to just start shooting the shit.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. So yeah, I mean, I'm up for trying that. I still have it on PlayStation, and we'll do that then. Yeah, let's do that then.
So yeah. Meanwhile, on Samus's Spider Ball adventures.
So I'll still say, between this and another Metroid 2 remake, things that I love that they did is because the visuals of Return of Samus, since the visuals were so limited, like it really was just 2, maybe 3 colors at most if you had the Game Boy Color. They really had a lot of leniency with the design of this place. Like everywhere. Okay, just saying right now. Overall, the backgrounds and everything was just a solid black screen everywhere in the original. So here they were able to really start mixing up. So like here now it's like a hydroponics dam or something.
Yep, and that is a that is not a very responsive item. And what the hell are you supposed to be?
It's a crazy armadillo bird thing, and I don't know its name, but fun fact, we will actually be seeing this sucker again later in the franchise.
Yeah, we will. It's in a nice little callback, but I will definitely say, I can just imagine it now, like this natural denizen of SR-388 was literally just making his home on this random bird statue, and all of a sudden you had to disturb his nap.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I love how, like, the missiles that you were firing off, like, he pulled up his shield already, but the missiles that were still in the air, they just kind of, like, bounced off.
Oh yeah, no, Matt also brought that up last part too. Yeah, just if it's a completely useless. Oh, he ate the item. If it's a completely useless missile, just go. So that's your quick sign of stop doing that.
Actually, speaking of last part, that's something I've been trying to ask, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys. Was there anything substantial that I missed out on last part?
Not really.
We opened up. We cleared the first area, and we cleared the first area, and we started working on the second area. But we needed to go up here. Basically, I introduced us to the concept of area elevators, not like world elevators that move. It's basically like, I don't know. It's like I guess my only guess is that it's to help save on loading times because they only have to worry about rendering so much of an area at once. Whereas the world elevators outright take you through quote unquote chapters. Each chapter moving forward may occasionally have like a sub area that also takes an elevator, and we just finished getting a new Aeon ability, the shield ability over there on the left. And and here's another sub area elevator right there. In fact, I'm actually going to go down there first because I think there's an upgrade I could use there.
I wonder if this will be another excuse for us to go back to story time.
No. Again, the story time only happens during. I have that only to be done during world elevators.
Ooh, okay.
You have to spoon feed. Lord, you will be not considered. You will be grateful for the story because technically, by my poor performance, I should not have deserved any story according to Nintendo.
Yeah.
You have to really work to earn that story, especially that secret ending.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of story, I feel like I can go ahead and say this without worry of flack, but that was something that I thought
snap.
was... Never.
Varia.
What? Oh.
No, I was just saying it's the Varia suit.
Oh, that was quick.
Woo! I knew I came down here for a reason. Now we can survive in the heat.
Look at them shoulder pads.
I do love the glowy effect they did this time. It's nice.
Technically speaking, this was the game to give Samus those iconically rocking shoulder pads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So bam, we got ourselves the Varia suit, which I want to say like reduces damage by like a quarter, and now we can go into hot areas. So anyway, back now. I mean, from here on, it's just normal stuff. Okay, we're not going through there anytime soon. So yeah, back to you, Hype.
I was just saying, like, something that I found amusing, like, looking back at some of the previous parts, like, a weird bit of, I don't know if hypocrisy is, like, the right word, but something I just find really amusing, where it's like, Matt was kind of going back and forth, where it's like, no one cares about the story in Metroid. Now, excuse me as I belittle one of the iconic lore points of Metroid and mock the Federation any chance I get.
Right, that was what I didn't understand. Oh, what? Regardless, I'm playing it for the story, and I'm super enthralled to see where Dread goes with it.
I do think what little story that they do get right, they really do get right. And actually, it's funny we bring up the Federation, because this is probably something I should have brought up sooner. The whole shit that the Federation...
Ooh,
what's this?
So sorry.
It's dead.
It's an Alpha Metroid shell. But if the Alpha Metroid shell shedded this, then...
Ooh.
It's a
meet the beta
schmuck.
Yeah, now it's got legs.
Yeah, and it will not hesitate to use them legs of his.
And it has a lot more firepower. Unfortunately, they have one other new thing, is a stun, but that was the worst way to put it. its mouth is really its only big weak point, since it's going to be grounded.
Come here, you.
Come on.
Get along, little doggy.
And yes, I'm very happy that they're bringing back that in Dread as well. The idea of the counter system like that.
Oh yeah. Like, there's plenty you can do with it. And I guess that is one thing I do kind of like about Samus Returns, is that what may look like a typical QuickTime event, it's honestly just doing the usual. Like, you get real close to do it, hold down the missile button, and then keep shooting.
Right. No, I had full control of what I wanted to shoot, or you can use any of your weapons, even the Aeon ability later. But so there. Now we took down our first beta. Back to you, James, with the Federation and your thoughts on them.
So honestly, it's funny because the only developers that really give the Federation Force all the as much shit as it deserves is Nintendo themselves. When it comes to the Prime series, like they're more of a victim of circumstance than outright deserving whatever shit thrown at them.
No, like in Federation Force, it seemed like they were genuinely trying to they saved Samus.
Yeah, and even in the other Prime games, like Metroid Prime 3, I don't think he's nowhere near as or iconic of a character as, for better or worse, as Adam. There was what's that guy from the third game? Admiral Dale or something like that? Or Dane.
So, yeah.
It was Dane.
That was the guy who had the big beef with the with Silex.
I think so. I mean, for what he seemed relatively okay, as were the rest of the Federation of that. What's this?
Wave Beam.
Ooh.
So Wave Beam now basically gives me my attacks will now have a penetrating capability to them to go through enemies into the next one. That's it. There, back to you.
I think that's more so. I thought that was the one that passed through walls.
No, that's Plasma.
Was that Plasma? I thought Plasma Beam was the one that took care of enemies.
Oh well, that there just went through wall. Oh, now I see what you're saying. Yes, I apologize. I mixed them up. Yes. wave will go through walls, plasma will go through enemies, and just increases your penetration power.
Either way, it's a better beam weapon overall.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, just whenever I think of like plasma and platformers, I just think back to Earthworm Jim. Plasma!
Plasma!
Yeah, I'm saving that. Don't spoil all my jokes. Jeez. But yes, I'm not against the Federation. I'd like to imagine the Federation is one of those things where, like, I mean, I'm sure it was made with the best intentions, and then, like, there's some people behind the scenes pulling strings that shouldn't be, and Samus is just trying to fight for justice or something.
Yeah, I mean that's just how it is. That's just how it is with a lot of big groups. Like, there's probably plenty of nice people that are working to make sure things aren't too screwy. But then you got the higher ups that tend to be the biggest assholes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we're potentially building up to with Dread. I mean, okay, we'll be here all day talking about.
We could say that. We could say all that kind of lovely lore stuff for maybe Other M.
Yeah, Other M. Oh, that's right, because that.
Other M was definitely one of the few games where you could definitely tell that there was a split between the two.
Right. Yeah.
And does that one take? That one takes place after Super.
After Super.
Right?
It's after Super, but before Fusion.
Gotcha. And bam, high jump right away. No, we're just knocking them out.
How many power-ups have we gotten in this part alone?
3.
We've gotten 3. I think. Yeah, we got Varia, we got Plasma, we got. We got
ball.
Spider. We got Spring Balls. That's 4. And now they these first couple areas they will be densely packing them with the upgrades. Wow.
Uh-oh.
And again, love the background.
Not my
details.
fault.
It was
not my fault. Go ahead.
No, I think you were about to say it anyway. Go ahead.
Okay, it was not about to cut.
He says as he got squished.
Ow. But yeah, okay, with high jump, again, things are opening up real quick.
But yeah, despite all that added firepower we have, we still have another 32 Metroids left to conquer.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Another useful thing regarding the map Aeon ability is that it also discerns pathways you can break through.
Yep, breakable walls from the other ones. I am at 1 energy left. I need health now, so I'm gonna use this to buy myself some time.
What I wouldn't give for another energy tank.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't believe this game has reserve tanks.
It does if you use Amiibo.
Ah, right.
Another thing they unfortunately locked behind Amiibo functionality, which thankfully this game is just generous enough where you won't really need it. But even still, it would be nice to have. And I'm hoping that, Drev will hopefully not have that same kind of limitation.
It's one of those things.
Oh, speaking of the devil, energy tank, baby.
What I needed. That's what I needed. But no, it's one of those. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm still. When I was talking to a friend about, because he was watching their girlfriend play Skyward Sword HD, and I was like, this actually looks really cool. I'm like, I do want to recommend it. I'm just not in a full agreement of paywalling like certain features like a fast travel system, which that game desperately needs.
I mean, yeah, that's the only thing that they really gave behind to be the functionality. Last I checked.
As far as I think it's a matter of like you're right. That's the only thing that they're gate blocking, but it's the fact that they're gate blocking what could be seen as like a really valuable quality of life change.
Which is fair. Mm-hmm. I'll definitely give you that. Although from what I have played of the game so far, I feel like that's only really going to be an issue if you're going through the dungeons. Like, the overworld, they littered those places completely with,
True, that's right, with all the bird statues, that is correct. Because they're so open-ended, that's fair.
Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the VIP access back to Area 1.
Yes. Well, not Area 1. I was just going over... I basically left that one sub-area, went back outside to, Oh, hang on. I see a clue.
I see another husk.
Gotta be careful.
Oh, that tickles. It tickles.
And we're done.
That would have hurt.
That would absolutely hurt. I genuinely think Aeon abilities are the way to go with some of these encounters. I'm trying to think... I don't think there's any that I deem outright useless. And the other cool thing to note is you are not... It won't become immediately apparent until later when I have more of them, but you're never excluded from using only one power-up at a time. I actually could...
Hello.
If I really wanted to, I could use all 4 Aeon abilities at the same time. It's just that, your Aeon energy consumption rate would drastically increase.
I will definitely say, maybe I was a ballsy motherfucker, but I didn't actually find myself using the lightning armor all that much aside from the times I really needed it.
Oh, that there was just me accidentally leaving it on. Oh crap, he's running.
Get back here.
Hey,
Wimp.
we're not done with you yet, you little stinker.
Again, trust me, this isn't the worst case of a Metroid literally fleeing in the middle of battle.
Oh, nice.
Missiles. There you go.
What did I? Yes, I do.
But yeah, I've only been relying on the lightning armor when say, well, I mean, especially there we go. I've only been relying on lightning armor when, say, you know, I'm at less than 1 energy tank and I just need to get through an area.
That's fair. Again, that's really the only major means I would really need it for. Otherwise, like, I guess
There's
it's
better
something
uses for your energy later on.
Right. In fact, now that I think about it, maybe I should have been a little more liberal with it when I was going through some of those boss fights, especially with spoilers, the Metroid Queen.
Oh no! Oh no! Especially when like the part where I'll just spoil it. Oh, look at that guy back there.
Hello.
I mean, I think they intend for you to use it when you go inside her stomach and stuff to avoid the acid burn.
That would probably make sense because I know in the original game you literally had to go in her stomach raw just to use that exploit.
Right. And then I do recall another Metroid 2 remake had some fun like kills for the Metroid Queen as well. One being going inside her stomach. Two, they had this really cool, unique sprite, which unfortunately there is nothing like that in this game, where the Metroid Queen is like trying to bite on Samus, and so she's using her free hand to hold its jaw open with her feet while she's like aiming the cannon down its throat. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think shots like that are what Metroid is like for. That plus the, you know, it's always meant to be kind of, how to put it, like, it's always been slightly nestled, not buried, but just lightly nestled into the dirt of Nintendo's forays into horror.
About as close as they can get away with. Like, if it's not the 1 or 2 times they did it in, if it's not the 1 or 2 times they did in Zelda and the 1 time they did it with Mario, it's mostly usually reserved for Metroid.
Which is funny, considering that with Metroid, I usually tend to consider it a happy accident that a lot of its aspects do work well with the horror genre.
Oh yeah, no, it's the some people have likened it not to survival horror in the way that we know it, but like in the sense of like it puts you on edge because of all these limited resources you have. Like, sure, you look up there and you're like, all right, I got health, but a limited amount of it. I have missiles, but a limited amount of it. And some would even argue that as far as if you want to get the best endings, you have time, but a limited amount of it.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact is... oh, crap, I interrupted the counter opportunity. Fun fact I learned was that this game actually, if you get the best ending, which is completing on hard mode with, I think, 3 hours. I don't know if you need all the items even, but if you complete this on hard mode, you get the Justin Bailey Samus again.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say that in this steaming hot environment, the ice shot should just melt the second it leaves her cannon.
Yeah, it's concentrated like cryo. I don't know. It's like dry ice. Call it dry ice.
Yeah, probably dry ice. Because consider that. Yeah, just because you're in the various doesn't mean you're completely free of lava damage. But
not yet. Come on.
What was I gonna say? Also, I assume that the ice shots that Samus shoots out of her blaster is literally gotta be like the absolute lowest like temperature possible in order to even survive this kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, probably. Also don't mind Citra there. Citra's just a little uppity with all of these effects going on at once.
Citra's just a testy little son of a bitch at the worst of times.
Though I will say I am very pleased that it's now getting to a point where I may even be able to finally do Kid Icarus Uprising.
Really?
Oh, have there been any... Well, what updates have there been on that front?
Well, for starters, it doesn't crash on me like what. So the first time we ever did that test recording, not test, the look at of sorts. The first time I did that was back when I could never get past stage 4 without it glitching on me and like crashing and me losing all progress. I was able to actually fully. I was able to show you guys. I was able to fully complete an entire playthrough. All was it 25, 30 chapters that game has to it?
Yeah, there's a lot. I want to say roughly 25.
That plot goes places, even though I still think the alien invasion arc was kind of filler.
It was. Like, that could have very well been DLC.
Yep.
Oh,
good. Anyway, but then, what was I saying? The only two big graphical points that Citra can't handle right now, and I don't know if anyone's looking into yet, is in Kid Icarus Uprising, two things refuse to be rendered by the game's engine. Number one is all grind rails will not render. The starting points will be there, and of course, Pit will fly on them, but it'll look like he's riding on nothing. And
he's riding on airs.
And the second thing that was kind of more humorous, but also kind of like, I'm definitely going to have to, like, use a long plays footage for that part, just so that you understand what's happening, is when you get to the underwater palace, it's all like, look at it, it's majesty. The underwater palace doesn't render.
Ooh.
So you're just floating around on just an empty piece of land. You're like, oh, it's like it's right there.
Isn't that somewhat similar to the problem that we had with Star Fox 3D?
No. The problem with Star Fox 3D was it would load Andros, but it would chug. Like, it took me like 5 minutes to beat that boss just because it chugged whenever I tried to look at him and all them brain.
No, I mean, like, didn't it also have like an issue with its Sweater World?
Maybe. I'll have to look back at that, but
it's the one where you're flying underneath the water.
It was something I remember. There was something where like it rendered the whole thing upside down at one point. I had to
that was fucking glorious.
Yeah, that was odd, and I remember I had to flip it up. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, we're done with Area 2. Yay!
Hooray! Now we insert the DNAs into this golden doohickey.
And I don't understand how this is quite working. So, again, I'm trying to figure out the logic. So the Chozo made these things and would only release them when the population was reduced above it, I guess, or something. But then that implies that everything below us was filled to the brim with purple lava, and it did absolutely nothing to stop them anyway. Whatever. Regardless, we're moving on.
I mean, to be fair, nothing says they can't survive that gunk.
True. And as you're seeing here, just because you've opened up the shortcut, doesn't mean you're quite off the... rats. It's little bombs. Can I use my missile?
Nope.
Nope. Okay,
I think there's a very specific setup you need to... Oh, well, I mean, if it's not immediately obvious.
Yeah, we'll have to come back later with to do those purposes. But yeah, as you're seeing here, even after you drain the lava, that doesn't necessarily mean your job is completely finished yet. There could still be exploration and items you've now uncovered, like this missile pack.
Yep. There's a whole lot left to explore in this little intermission sequence.
Although I disagree with the fact that the missile tanks only give you 3 this time around, as opposed to 5.
I think that might be a carryover from the original game.
Curses. Oh, there's our elevator. And we'll figure out what the heck that red glowy block over there is for next time. I'm going down.
Now can we have our story time?
Now it's for story time.
Hooray!
So, for Clearing Area 2, we learned that they were, again, using their techs and a familiar big Constructo bot in the back there that James will recognize later. They use Constructed bots to archaeology stuff, carve out the caves, scan all the life forms, and things were good, and there was much rejoicing.
In a matter of speaking.
So, heading further into Area 3. There we go.
Now we have to fill out that entire circle.
We got our work cut out for us. So.
Oh yeah, so stay tuned for part 4.
Yep, stay tuned. Bye.
Yeah.